Hi there, my name's Nadia SAYERS. I'm your Miss Universe Ireland, and you're watching the Pageants and PJs podcast.
I've got no sound, guys. Oh, there we go.
All right, Chloe, you're up. You do the hello.
Hello, and welcome to episode 58 of the Pageants and PJs podcast, where we have the beautiful Miss Universe Ireland, Nadia SAYERS. Hi.
There you go,
So
Chloe.
how are
That
you doing
was
this
epic.
week, Nadia?
Keep going.
Sorry? How are you doing this week, Nadia? Doing good so far. Very busy week this week, so yes, but doing good. Enjoying it. It's always fun to stay busy. How was your first Valentine's Day engaged? Oh my goodness. So my partner, my fiance, is actually away working, so I was by myself. Oh, I'm so sorry. No. This is a positive thing. I embraced it. I did a lot of self-care that day. I walked, I did face masks, and I spent a little me time. I love that. That's
I thought
what
you were
I do
going to say
every
it was
day.
a positive thing that he was away. I was like, oh, that's not a good.
Yeah, it was a good break.
Not good.
Did you make a candlelit dinner for the cat? How did you guess?
Hang on, Nadia, what's your cat's name? Espresso.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
It actually looks like the crema on a coffee.
Yeah.
Is it a he or she? It's a he?
It's a she.
It's a she. She's got a nice, really like golden caramelly color on the top. Yeah, that's what she reminded me of, and that's why I named her that. That and my obsession. So it just worked. Oh, I loved your t-shirt and your Instagram post, by the way. Oh, thank you. Amazing. Anything to do with coffee is just yeah. Yep. Well, Cheers,
we have the coffee monster down here today in my usual spot.
Coffee snob.
How are you feeling
The
being
way
up there,
through
Chloe?
coffee.
You're doing well.
I don't know. I'm kind of a bit nervous, you know. I've got big shoes to fill here, huge shoes. We're doing a great job. I feel very comfortable. Oh, thank you.
Well, Nadia, if you're not comfortable with Chloe, then you're not going to be comfortable with anyone else. I'm just going to bring this comment on. Ralph has said, good afternoon, Adrian, Chloe, Danny, and Nadia. I hope all is well with you all. Thank you. Ralph, where are you from? You're from the States somewhere, right? Because you're saying afternoon. You're obviously not in Australia or the UK. So let us know where you're watching from. Rachel, I popped this up below, has said, hello, everyone. Hope you are all well and safe.
Hi.
Okay, so Chloe's doing a bang-up job. Chloe, why don't you start by catching us up with your week? What have you been up to apart from being super chill?
Yeah, so I've had a week off. So basically, I have been just super chill. I wanted to be productive. I was semi-productive. I started fixing up my CVs for different things. It's weird because I've like made several different CVs for several different types of jobs. So yeah, I'm going to look into maybe looking for different jobs this week. And yeah, I just want to try out new things in life. I think sometimes it's just fun to try different things and spice up your CV and maybe apply for the kind of jobs you wouldn't normally apply for, just out of curiosity. So yeah. What about
100%.
Danielle? Did you have a romantic Valentine's Day this week?
I did. It was so lovely. Just really chilled vibes. We went through a Starbucks drive-through and got a cheeky little Starbucks, and then we went through.
Stop saying cheeky.
You love it, Adrian. Any opportunity to chuck in the word
damn
cheeky,
well I don't.
I'm there.
Stop saying it. Every time you hear it, I know you put that in there just to annoy me.
Well, we didn't have a cheeky Nando's this time. We took it up a level. We actually went for a really long drive. We went through like all the little towns in the area because we're house hunting. Well, you know, looking for our dream house. So we had a little drive around the area and was just like in awe of all the beautiful houses. Didn't get out of our car, obviously stayed in the car. Just went for a cute little drive. And then we came back home and we had my favourite, which is this little Italian restaurant in Cardiff. They do a lobster dinner on order, so you've got to pre-order it. And
is it lobster with like American lobster, or is it okay?
Yeah. Well, what other lobsters are there, Adrian?
We don't have those in Australia. When we say lobsters, it's actually a giant crayfish, before you think I'm crazy, and they taste very different. So our lobster tastes more like a giant prawn in texture. It's firm, whereas the American lobsters with the claws, especially, it's a lot softer and sweeter. So that's why I ask.
Yeah. So yeah, just the proper lobster, not Australian lobster.
I'll go with that.
We had that for dinner, and then we had some beautiful cannoli. He's got a tiramisu which he hasn't eaten yet. That's them in the fridge, just to remind you. Yeah. We had a really nice. Is
that like a warning?
That's a warning. That is a warning because he didn't eat it last time, and I was threatening him. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it, and then it ends up being wasted. So this time, I'm really going to eat it if he doesn't eat it in the next 24 hours.
He's got 24 hours to eat it, does he?
Yeah.
He probably should anyway, otherwise it would go off.
Exactly. It's freshly made as well, so it's got fresh cream on there. So yeah, and it's the most amazing Italian restaurant. I tagged them in my post. I know it's got the name Sorrento in it. I've actually been to Sorrento. It's beautiful. So we had that. We watched. We've really got into Married at First Sight. Married at First Sight Australian edition. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. If by good you mean the bottom of the barrel of reality shows.
No.
It's so easy to watch. Of the desperate.
Some of them, it's so good. Some of them, they match them really well, and you just like root for them. They're going to spend the rest of their lives together, and some of them are just like hot mess. So we've been watching. I think we watched like 5 episodes of that over dinner. On
Valentine's Day, you watched a tragic piece of steaming so-and-so, like Married at First Sight. That, in Australia, it's news whenever, Married at First Sight couple breaks up. I'm like, really? Really? That's a surprise for you? They got married at first sight and then they divorced. That's surprising to you. People, like the average, I shouldn't say this, Nadia, cover your ears, but the average divorce rate now for married couples is over 50%. So to think you can marry at first sight and that when they break up, it's a surprise, I'm sorry.
There is some science behind it. I have got experts matching people.
That's like saying eHarmony is based on scientific matching.
You're so passionate about this.
He is. I know.
Yeah.
I hate
Let's sign him
Nadia.
up for it,
I
guys.
hate reality TV because reality TV. First off, it's anything but reality. Because I've had a friend who's been on it. I can't say who, but it is obviously, in case you didn't know, scripted to death. It is nothing. It's nothing to do with reality, and even worse, when they edit it. Like Chloe knows. Cassandra Cashin, who was Miss Grand 2017 in Australia, before she went there, she was on a reality show. I think was it Beauty and the Geek, Chloe? Was it that one?
Oh, I love the clips she shared. They were so funny. Yeah. Beauty and the Geek.
Even Chloe was saying the way they clipped it out.
She's a very smart girl.
She is, but they made her completely look like a blonde bimbo because that's what fitted the narrative of the story. So, I do get set off by reality TV.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danielle. Continue. Sorry,
but it was good fun. It's good fun. That was our Valentine's.
So, speaking of reality TV and marriage, visualize that you are on Don't Tell the Bride. What would be your nightmare scenario, your nightmare venue, your nightmare dress, and your nightmare food for all of you?
Go on, Nadia. I'll let you go. What would be horrific?
So,
are you sure you should be asking this of Nadia, given that she's going to be married soon,
well,
and you're asking her?
But she's organised.
I have tight reins on that.
As you should.
Nightmare dress, lots and lots of frills. Nightmare food. Like if you had to like get up and like pick your own like wee party foods.
Oh, like a
Like a-
It's quite
buffet.
like
Yeah,
party
but
food.
like but at a wedding, I just think a big white
No.
dress and
Yeah.
picking your
You
own
mean like
party
finger
food
foods?
yeah, as the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea. Not in a white
Mm-mm.
dress.
No.
And if he
Eating in general is not a good idea in a white dress. I
Very
know, I had a white
risky.
suit. It's not a good idea to eat or to drink, especially red wine.
oh, and then I think if he expected me to climb anything or go down anywhere super muddy whilst in that dress,
Oh my
I
goodness.
can't guarantee I'd do it.
This
'Cause I can
sounds like an
imagine-
interesting wedding coming up.
I can imagine him just going, "Oh, be really romantic on top of this big hill. How am I going to get up the big hill? That wouldn't have
He
been
should
thought
carry
about.
you. That's what he should do.
Yeah.
That's what he should do, Adrian, but we don't know what he would do.
And he should sprinkle rose petals whilst in
Yeah,
front
you
of you
see
whilst
some-
you're walking.
Look at you.
Yeah. You see sometimes they do it in like football stadiums and like nightclubs and like McDonald's and stuff.
no.
Like, no, you would murder them.
McDonald's?
No, maybe I made that one up.
Well, I actually like.
How do you guys get married in Ireland? Does marriage mean something different in Ireland than it does to me?
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I
No.
can hear you, can't I? I can't hear.
What, you can't hear?
I just pulled my headphones out now. What happened was he's using the wireless headphones that I use for my running. So what's happened is the sound switched to his.
Oh,
So I was like,
we didn't
I
hear anything.
and he could hear us. He's like, "What's going on? Why can I hear them?"
We didn't hear anything. I would have think he works in tech. I thought he would know what's going on, but no, we just heard we heard odd, heavy breathing is what we heard.
Right, let me see if this will like go back in now.
I actually,
Okay, we're back.
someone I went to school with, he kind of like went. It was before I suppose Facebook and everything was super big. Whenever it was just kind of things were starting to go viral and people were talking about photos and memes and stuff. And he asked his girlfriend to dress up really nice for this date, this big romantic date that he was going to take her on. And bless her, like she dressed up in like this gorgeous dress, like black slinky dress, hair, makeup all done, ready to go out for this big grand dinner. And the next thing he posted a photo on his Facebook of he pulled 2 tables together in McDonald's and bought her a Big Mac meal. And she was a good sport. She thought it was funny, but he posted this photo and it went everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
Bless her.
I thought the Irish would know how to do romance. I was wrong.
So, Danielle, what is your nightmare don't tell the bride scenario?
Okay. Wedding dress, something that's too revealing. So either like too short or too busty, too much skin on show. And those like, I'm probably going to offend a ton of people here, but you know, when you can see like the corset boning in a dress in lace, and you can see, I really don't like that. Personal taste. Anything, yeah, not a fan. So anything like that is a no. Worst food would probably be like barbecue food, because obviously I'm veggie, I don't eat meat. So if it was just all meat, that's not going to be cool for me. Or like what they have, like a suckling pig or like a rotisserie pig. That would no thank you. That would be offensive.
I didn't know
to me on my
brides
wedding
get
day.
to actually eat during their wedding. I thought brides spend the whole day not being able to eat because they have to go around saying hello to everyone. And if they eat anything, they'll burst out of their dress because it's so tight.
No, I'm getting the dress made to fit me. I'm not fitting in the dress. The dress is made for me. So, and I will be eating. I will be eating and I will be drinking a lot. So
I'm going to
that's
have
just
the
how it
camera
is.
ready.
And I think the worst thing for me, if I was on Don't Tell the Bride, would be if they like booked Vegas and only a handful. Do you remember that episode where you booked Vegas and it's only a handful of people went?
Yes.
No, I couldn't do that. Like, I don't mind like going away abroad and doing it, but not to Vegas. I think it's just a bit tacky, my opinion.
Yeah. Although my cousin did get married there, and before going, I kind of judged it. I thought, why would anyone want to get married in Vegas? And I went. It was actually in the gardens of Caesar's Palace, which were beautiful.
Yeah.
The guy who married them, what's it called? A pastor? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Could be a
quite
pastor,
funny.
priest, celebrant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he was really funny. It was pretty sweet. She loved Harry Potter, and she walked down the aisle to the Harry Potter pageant. And it's something that I never would have thought would have looked well, but like the little twinkly bits at the start, like it actually was quite sweet. So
Yeah,
I never thought I would have liked it. But
I think you can have a really nice wedding in Vegas, but I like, for me, if it's like the little chapel with the Elvis impersonator, down that kind of route, where you like take a dress off a rack and you put that on.
Yeah.
No, never. No.
Can I just say, this is proof, if there ever was proof needed, that the woman is in charge of the wedding, not the guy. Honestly.
Yeah.
Why would you like that?
This and this sorted, and the guy is just like feed me and clothe me, and I'll just go along with whatever you want. I'm happy, honestly.
I'd like
a Harry Potter wedding. That's not, a guy did not come up with a Harry Potter wedding. I can assure you. He might come up with a video game wedding or like Avengers wedding or Star Wars, but a Harry Potter would be like, oh God, no. Danielle, I don't know if are you on your Wi-Fi or your mobile? Because you're like your sound is good, but you're glitching all over the place. Chloe's actually really clear.
Terrible Wi-Fi here. Is that any better?
Yay.
Oh no, I've frozen. Brilliant.
See you in a sec. We can still hear you. Just give Danielle a second to. So Chloe, it must have been your work. You must have used up your daily quota on your internet at work, and then when you jump on here, you're doing what Danielle's. You're not moving at all now.
Oh, brilliant!
We can still hear you. Turn your camera off and turn it back on.
Am I not here?
You're here. You're here. We can hear you, but you're not moving at all. Okay, turn it back on.
Better. Back on now.
No, you're still. You're back on, but you're still kind of very. We'll deal with it. It's okay.
Okay, brilliant, fantastic.
Chloe, you got to answer the question yourself. You asked the question.
Yeah, just if anyone made me get married in general. No, I don't want to get married, but only one condition.
Yes or no?
One condition. No, on one condition. It has to be the Mamma Mia wedding. It has to be. I have to have men jumping in from every direction while Gimme Gimme Gimme's playing. I have to have it in the little chapel for Mamma Mia. I have to decide at the altar that I'm not actually going to get married and that I'm going to run away and go traveling instead. And then I'm going to have 3 dads that I didn't know, but it has to just be Mamma Mia or else I don't want it. That's it.
Oh.
This is
no.
Yeah, if you don't know, Chloe is, because you put this up on TikTok or somewhere, right?
Yeah, I did.
You're
famous.
I know Evelyn knows about this. So you only want to get married so you can have it to this song and have this scene out of Mamma Mia, right? Again, the woman's in charge of the wedding. If someone made me get married, that's very romantic.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just keep getting freaked out if I thought about marriage. I don't know. It just kind of scares me a bit.
This is good to tell Nadia before she gets married. Nadia,
it's okay. It terrified me too. I actually had said at one stage I was never getting married, and then I decided I was one day, and I decided I wanted to get engaged, and it eventually happened.
Did you decide when he asked?
No, if I did, it probably would have been sooner. But no, we decided to get a house first before any of that and try and get on the property ladder first. So push that back a little bit. But now, see, to be honest, it still doesn't feel real. I think it's because it's all been in lockdown as well.
Yeah.
We haven't got to properly celebrate with our families or anything. So it still seems like this imaginary your kids and play organizing stuff. Only it's dangerous because it's with real money.
Oh, yeah.
Just pretend it's play money. Just pretend it's Monopoly money. A lot of Monopoly money.
Like last week I had a day called Deposit Day and it was fun.
Oh.
Deposit Day?
Yeah. So a lot of deposits come out that day.
Oh,
Was it for a property?
No, it was for wedding stuff.
Oh,
Different wedding
I don't
suppliers.
know which is. I don't know which one would scare me more.
No, they all had to be booked in advance and solidified, but that's done and dusted.
Wouldn't you like to, though, if you were invited to Nadia's wedding, you got a wedding invite from Miss Universe Ireland? Wouldn't that be something?
Well, let's just see. If you fly here.
Don't
The
talk to me
wedding's
about
going to be
flying
out
anywhere,
of this
Nadia.
world.
Oh,
out of the universe.
Okay, so Chloe, I'm just going to jump in here for a sec. So I was talking about maybe going to Clubhouse, and I worked out the tech behind it. But we're not going live to Clubhouse only because I have a rule that says not to record, and I don't want to risk breaking the rule. Not that we would kind of be recording, but we would. So I've just emailed Clubhouse support to see if it's okay, and then next time we can actually go on Clubhouse and people can send in their questions live, and Nadia, for example, I guess will be able to hear it. But whilst I did that, I came up with a sound effect app because I have to plug my phone audio into the computer audio so that you guys could hear the questions from Clubhouse, right? And I found one sound effect, tell me if you can hear this, that I think is a must-have for having Danielle on a show.
Hey.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
It is literally the one sound effect that you need when you have Danielle on. There are other ones, for example, this one. That's nice. There's also this one. There's a lot of
that's a good
different.
one.
Bummer.
This one. But for now, I'm just going to leave it on this. For every time Danielle lands one of her patented dad jokes. So you're welcome. Always upping the production values here at the Pageant Project. So, Chloe, what is this show? You asked a question. I don't even know what this show is. It doesn't sound like something I want to watch, but what is it?
So yeah, basically, Don't Tell the Bride is where the groom organizes everything without telling the bride, and the bride turns up on her wedding day.
That's a worse idea than Married at First Sight. I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, it destroys marriages.
Yeah. So there's like couples that genuinely love each other. There's been one case where they didn't get married.
And I think they do it because production will pay for your wedding. Like they'll set a budget of like so many thousand and they'll pay for it.
I think it was something like 25 grand they had.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You easily do a wedding on that.
Yeah. So that's why.
How do they get it so wrong with that much money?
Because they do things, don't they? They do things stupid like hiring, props from movies and all sorts of weird stuff.
In football stadiums.
I think the problem is they give them that much money. I think if you gave them £5,000, they wouldn't be able, or dollars, whatever it is, they wouldn't actually be able to be so stupid. But if you give them 25,000, it's probably, I'm imagining, more than they would be able to spend themselves. So they go a bit stupid. But Danielle and Nadia, as the attached people, if your significant others, your better halves, were to organise your wedding, what would that look like, do you think?
You can go first this time, Danielle.
Oh, I don't know what he would do. I think he knows me. He knows my style very well, so I think he'd hit the nail on the head with the dress because I'm very vocal.
Do you want to bring him on? He can say.
Trust me, you don't want to see this hot mess that I'm looking at right now.
We don't have to see him. You can just give him your earbuds and he can tell us.
The funny thing is, he doesn't know I'm talking about him because he's got the headphones on and they're noise cancelling, so I can say whatever I want about him right now. He's loving life. He's eating my arrow. Oh, he's looking at me. He's just pulled the headphone off. If we were on Don't Tell the Bride, what would you do? If you could pick the wedding, what would you do?
Nice and romantic, like Vegas.
No, he's just heard that. He says Vegas.
He said Vegas.
No, you're taking the Michael.
Can I come?
Huh?
I would make sure it's what you want.
He said he'd make sure it's what I want.
Oh,
He's a good egg. Yeah.
Suck up.
He is a sucker. No, I think you get the gist of it.
Yeah, I'm imagining you've whipped him into shape enough so he would understand.
I'm not really a wedding person though. Like I'm not fussed about getting married. It's not really like I'd like kids and a house. I'm not really fussed about. I'd rather have the honeymoon, the dress and the ring.
I'm with
and
you
that's
there.
all I want. And a bit of a party. I don't like dream of like a church. Yeah, a party.
Yeah, like if you gave me 25,000, I'd be like, okay, let's spend. I don't know, have a nice one, but a small, intimate one, 5, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Have your best friends there, and then spend the other 20. Go on a holiday.
Yeah,
or something more meaningful than burning it all on the one day. And it's like, great, you got memories for one day. I swear half the people who have a wedding don't enjoy it because they're stressed out of their mind. Yeah. So spend less on the wedding and take the rest and either deposit it on a house or go on a holiday. Have an adventure together. Isn't that what you want when you're married? You do stuff together, because otherwise you get too old and you can't do it. And so that's not what I would want. Nadia, what would your better half organize?
With all of the best of intentions, he really likes the show Vikings and all the Viking stuff. He's very into that. Has some tattoos along those lines and stuff. He's very into all that. So I worry that it would look a lot like a scene out of Vikings.
Like a medieval banquet.
Yes.
I would love that. That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
They put you in a lady green sleeves Viking outfit.
Exactly. He would put me in something with big, long, like, trumpet sleeves and have my hair plaited with something falling out of it. And no. So that's exactly what it would look like, one of those things.
They plan the hen do as well. Like, that's another thing that I that's where he'd stitch me up. He'd stitch me up in the hen do, not on the actual wedding. I think the wedding would be great. The hen do would be.
Yeah.
Where do you think
he would? To the local Weatherspoons, and put a fiver behind the bar for us.
What's a Weatherspoons?
It's like
you don't want to know.
Cheap pub.
Yeah.
We just call it spoons here in Derry.
Yeah, greasy spoon.
That's where I ended up going on my 18th birthday when the place I booked burned down on my birthday.
I mean, they're not bad.
That's so unfortunate.
You know what you're going to get with the spoons?
Luck of the Irish.
Yeah, we got some like big jugs of,
big jugs.
The spoons.
Big jugs.
Chloe's doing it again.
Last week it was squishy balls. This week it's big jugs.
It wasn't squishy balls. It was squidgy balls.
Oh, that's one, squidgy.
And then she's like, no, I found a photo of it. And I'm like, oh, dear me. I don't know what you Miss Universe Island guys get up to, but...
dirty minds. You just take everything out of context.
That's just all Chloe.
Because it's funny.
I'm so innocent, and you guys...
I know. That's what makes it even funnier. Like if Danielle told the same joke, she'd be cracking herself up as she told it. But when you say it, it's like you have this completely innocent look on your face and everyone's like this.
Yeah. And then you're like, no, guys, I didn't mean it like that.
In all seriousness.
And then it becomes even funnier.
In all seriousness. Spoons do the best cocktail jugs.
They do, yeah. They do like Woo Woo, Purple Rain.
You have cocktail jugs, so like a jug of like how big are the jug? Like enough for 4 cocktails, or
they're like huge,
like 5 or 6.
It's mostly ice, though. To be fair,
yeah.
Well, I mean, the cocktail itself is often normally ice as well, especially if it's like a frozen one. But I mean, how much would that set you back if it's like 6? Let's say a jug holds 6. How much does a jug cost?
Like £12.
Is it £12
Aren't
for
they?
2? It used to be £12
Yeah,
for 2 back
I
when
think
was
it's only
younger.
like £8 or £9.
Yeah.
For
2
one.
jugs.
Yeah, it
Well,
used to be
12
2
for
for
two,
12. Yeah.
So 24 Australian dollars, give or take, for 2 jugs. So $12 for one. And you're saying that's a $2 cocktail.
Yeah.
God,
That's what I mean.
no wonder
It's-
when I had Emma Collingridge over here and she decided it was a good idea to have Jaeger bombs. Jaeger bombs are never a good idea, just saying. And she was shocked that she had to pay so much. No, Jaeger bombs are never a good idea. No, not when you're a cocktail waitress. Not when you're a pageant queen, is what I'm going to say. Having the shots, when the shots come out, the night's over. You either run for your life then and there, or you know it's going to end badly. For someone there. There's always someone who regrets life in about 8 hours. That's been my experience anyway.
That's tequila.
Oh,
That's
margaritas.
tequila. I can handle a Jaeger bomb. The tequila, no bueno.
Yeah. 2 margaritas just completely wiped me out.
It's because you're a lightweight, Chloe.
I am 100%.
There you go.
Moving on.
Moving on. Ask Nadia a question. We do have Miss Universe Ireland on, so I was going to. You go for it, Danielle.
My question for you, Nadia, is: have you started to think about your national dress? And has it started? I'm not asking for any sneak peeks or anything, but I just want to know that it's in the process.
We have a concept that is a final idea, and we're just seeing then how it practically turns out. But yes, I know what it is.
Amazing! Can't
And
wait. It's always
everyone
amazing.
will love it. Everyone will love it.
Universe
I'm so
Island
excited.
always create amazing national dresses.
Oh, that's why I was so excited to work on it and get to speak to the team about what we were going to do, because obviously I'd followed the last 3 years and everything they produced was just unbelievable. And there's part of me was like, oh, what if maybe I don't like it as much as the other ones, because I absolutely loved all of the other girls' costumes, especially Granya's.
Is that the neon?
It was the neon shamrock.
Oh my god, I love that.
It was phenomenal. But whenever they showed me mine, I was like, oh yeah.
Exciting. So exciting.
So it'll be good.
That is incredible. Is there any more information on dates or anything yet? Or
I don't know.
I guess
whenever we say that, as soon as we find out it'll be up on the social medias, it will. It'll probably be. Chloe was messaging me the other day asking me. She was like, "I've heard rumors that it's here and here," and I was like, I haven't even heard those rumors. I don't know.
There's been loads of rumors floating around, but you always just have to wait until it comes from the official, Miss Universe organization. Otherwise, they're all just rumors.
I mean, those rumors sound amazing. I wouldn't mind going to it. Was it Costa Rica that rumor was? I think
it's the one that's where you said to me about, but I have no idea.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of buzz around Florida, but I still think that it's going to be Vegas, just because it's the go-to. It's the go-to. It's trialed and tested. It'll be easier to run there during COVID anyway. If the pandemic is still, it'd still be able to go ahead, but obviously be able to be more contained if you were in a hotel. I personally think it's Vegas, but there are rumors out there swirling.
Are you guys allowed to leave the country at the moment? I have to ask because it keeps changing all the time.
It is completely changing all the time. Where to leave, it has to be. There's certain certain things are allowed, and mainly for work purposes. But it's just a case of keeping an eye on the regulations as they change, because I know the government are going back and forth on a lot of different things at the minute, which include whether just to stop flights or whether to keep it open. So we're just not sure. It's just a daily and weekly thing we're having to watch.
Yeah.
Everyone
Actually,
has
the
to
other day,
quarantine.
sorry, the other day it was
we-
on the
yeah.
news that if you lie about returning from a high-risk country, you can get 10 years in prison. 10 years.
Whoa, there's murderers that have done less.
Did you see that? Did you not see that on the news?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I would
UK,
say
yeah.
initially that's a bit harsh, but on the other hand, I think it's one of those things that would be designed to scare people
Yeah.
so that you don't do it. And I can understand that, because if you imagine how much money the country would lose every time it's plunged into lockdown because some idiot decides to lie about where they've been, which screws up all the contact tracing, remember, and could, let's be honest, could kill somebody. 10 years, yeah, because otherwise if it's like £1,000, people go, oh, it's worth it. 10 years, you might actually consider twice about doing something stupid. So fair enough.
Yeah.
I say this coming from a country where we're probably on top of it as much as any other country in the world apart from New Zealand. But it's because when we have like one case, the whole state gets plunged back into like a 5-day lockdown. And people overseas don't understand that. They go, oh, that's so cruel. That's so strict. Yeah, but it's why we've got it under control.
Yeah.
Whereas the UK, I don't know what the Irish numbers are, but the UK is always in the news about record numbers, as is the US.
A couple of weeks
really
ago, Ireland had the highest R rate in the world.
Oh no!
And that was just a couple of weeks ago. So it is, and they've really really locked down on having both the PSNI and the guards out to check you, like if you're traveling outside of your distance for a purpose that isn't deemed essential, and unless you have proof of that. And now it's enforceable, so they can, up to their own discretion, they can hand you a fine straight away, and there's no arguing with it.
No, we had that back a year ago, in the first lockdown. Well, when they said, okay, you couldn't go outside except for this, and there was only like 5 reasons. One was essential work, obviously. The other one was to go to the supermarket, like essential shopping. Another one, I think, was one day, like exercise once a day. But if you were caught without it, you would be fined, and you don't get to argue with it.
Here, they kind of, at the beginning, they would have given you a warning. So if they stopped you and asked why you weren't, they would have said, look, you can go home now, but I've taken your details, sort of thing, and you get a warning. And then if they were caught out again, then they would get the fine. But now it's just straight away.
Yeah, I can understand that. There was an issue here with a guy who, for some reason, decided, I think it was a burger. It was either a burger or a bacon and egg roll, and his favorite place was outside of where he was allowed to travel to. So he traveled to this place to have the burger. He got caught, and so that burger ended up costing him, like, let's say $1,000.
Expensive burger.
Yeesh. Oh God. Well, the good news is in the UK yesterday they hit 15 million for vaccine. People,
That is a good news.
That's incredible.
There has been a decline as well. So that's
God.
positive.
What's happening with the vaccinations in Ireland, though? Because obviously Ireland is separate to the UK. Ireland is part of the EU. So is Ireland getting the same sort of vaccination rollout as the UK?
I think we're running behind. So the UK got theirs, I think it was 6 weeks early, because the EU had more regulations and more checks or something to go through. So the UK is just farther ahead in vaccinating.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think the UK will be the first to sort of get it done because they started first because of the UK variant. I think that's when they decided they really needed to rush it. But it's good that hopefully it's rounding the corner and hopefully we can actually travel internationally soon. And then we can have pageants in person. It's going to be, just speaking for myself, so weird seeing people in person again. Outside of go to the supermarket. I was telling Nadia before you two jumped on, I was at the supermarket the other day and I was like, it's so weird because that feels like an adventure to me because that's really the only thing I get to do. So I'm looking at the supermarket and just going for walks up and down the aisle because that's my socializing now, is like going up and down the aisles of supermarkets whilst keeping a 1.5 meter distance and wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
It's going to be so weird, like hugging someone. I haven't hugged people since UK Galaxy last year.
I think it's going to be so weird. It's going to be so weird when we're able to go to like concerts and football games again, and we're allowed to be in crowds. It's going to be, that's going to be very strange.
I actually saw
Like,
a
keep
meme
going.
about going bowling. So you're gonna like put your fingers in this bowling ball and then like eat your chicken wings afterwards, and like, because you don't know how many people have had their fingers in that bowling ball, and then you go to lift your food, your fries, your chicken wings, and
I always feel I've always felt gross about that.
Yeah, I
Don't
never
forget
even
the
thought about it
shoes.
ever.
Yeah.
You guys
Shoes
wear
too.
bowling shoes, right? And the
Yeah.
shoes are shared. So
Yeah.
They spray them when you hand them back in. They spray them with antibac straight away. Whereas the bowling balls, you never see them cleaning those. Whenever I finish bowling, I always go straight and wash my hands. And if food comes over while I'm bowling, I won't touch the food unless I've washed my hands. Like that's always been how I felt about bowling. It's gross.
Can I just say, having seen how many people seem to not wash their hands after going to the bathroom. I would 100%.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. People just go out without washing their hands. I'm like, aren't you forgetting something? And to think that, anyway, I don't want to go into that. But
There's not even
I saw people do that on a cruise before. I was in a cruise bathroom. It was like one of the ones beside the restaurant, and I saw someone walking out without washing their hands, and I almost had a heart attack. I was like saying to my friend,
and that's
like,
a buffet,
"Oh my God,
right? Don't cruises normally do buffets?
And
everyone's like hands on the food, like.
And the girl walked from the cubicle out the door, and I turned to my friend. I was like, started freaking out. I was like, she didn't wash her hands. What if she was into that buffet? What if I lift something that she lifted? And then we just started freaking out about it. But the good news is, when you do walk in through the doors, they do have hand sanitizer machines, and there is guys like standing there. There's this one guy with the guitar, and he like sings to you, being like, wash your hands. So he got this girl to, use a hand sanitizer or wash her hands. But it was kind of creepy just to see that. But
this was pre-pandemic though, right?
Yeah,
the wash your hands guy.
They like sing.
So obviously hygiene is such a big issue on cruises that they need a guy actually singing to you, wash your hands.
Yeah, they have a guy whose job is to stand there, play the guitar, and sing to you to tell you to wash your hands. You'd probably be able to find it on YouTube if you look it up. But yeah,
what do you think he puts on his CV? How do you put that on your CV or your resume?
Cruise ship singer.
Yeah, cruise ship singer. Wash your hands.
Cruise ship entertainer.
Show us your repertoire. That's it.
Yeah. Show us the remix of that. Show us the rap version of Wash
4
Your
different
Hands.
versions, depending on what theme night it is.
That would be. I would actually quite enjoy that job. You're just like standing there singing, playing guitar, telling people to wash their hands.
You love cruises, though.
It get a little bit repetitive. What's that word? Repetitive. Yes. My brain fart there.
I gotcha.
Am I still breaking up or something? Because I feel mega awkward.
There you go. Sorry, I just had to find the fart noise when you said brain fart. No, we can hear you all right, but you are.
Can you see me?
You've got like one frame. Yes.
Oh, it's so annoying. I'm sorry,
you're
guys.
moving like one frame a second. You've taken Chloe's spot. It must be something about literally being in this rectangle that makes you freeze up. Chloe is super clear today.
Yeah. Well, don't speak too soon.
Oh, well, one of us glitching in and out is bad enough as it is. So Nadia doesn't know when Miss Universe Ireland is, when Miss Universe is happening. Are any other pageants coming up? Does anyone know of any other in-person pageants that are running in the near future?
The next one's supposed to be UK. I think the next one's supposed to be UK's National Miss, but there's I doubt that's going to happen next month.
Next month? That ain't happening. Yeah, I'm calling it now. Sorry, that should be rescheduled now. That can't happen.
So I know Holly's hot on it. She will definitely have a backup plan. I think it's just so I don't think that's going to be going ahead. Next after that, I think is it's hard to say. There's so many pageants here in the UK. I just don't think anything's going to happen till the summer. Potentially.
I would agree with that.
I was a part of the judging panel for Miss Voluptuous, which was made virtual this year. which was phenomenally well done and adapted. I think some pageants might need to take that jump to becoming virtual. I mean, you guys had the best time with Miss Universe Ireland, and that was held virtually, you know. So I think this is something that a lot of pageants are going to have to do just for this year.
And what I do think about it being virtual is it drew in a whole other crowd of people watching it, and people who aren't typically involved in the pageant world, because a lot of the time people who go and watch pageants are people who have maybe experienced pageants or work alongside them, whereas I know my friends like that I went to school with, who I would still be close to, they've never went to a pageant in person, because it is a lot. Half the time you're traveling, you're dressing up, and you're having to book time off work, and they didn't really understand, I suppose, the appeal, other than obviously going to support me. They didn't really understand the appeal. But they all watched that night, and actually all of them contacted me afterwards, and they were saying that the next one that's held in person, if it's me handing over my crown or whatever it is, they would like us all to go together, because now they've experienced that and they've seen how it plays out. Obviously not the same, but they got an idea and a feel for it. So they want to go and see it in person now.
Yeah, so they've come along this full journey instead of just seeing the show on the night. They've seen all of your prep, all of the hard work that goes into it. And you know what, as someone in the pageant industry, and you're constantly defending what we do and how hard we work, for them to actually see it and give us kudos finally, because it's all been out there on the internet for everyone to see. So I think that's amazing. I think that's incredible that your friends have now got to see like the other side of it, which we so frustratingly always tell people, but now they've got to witness it themselves.
They know you put work in, but they don't understand where the work is or how much prep is involved. But like you say, this time they had to see, because it was all put out there and all heavily promoted out there.
Yeah. So I think some pageants this year, and they might have to take the, you know, have a little look into it a little bit more.
I think it depends a lot on the director. I mean, this is why I wanted to interview Brittany, because not only did she run the pageant Miss Universe Ireland virtually, remember she did it whilst in America. So when people say, oh, I wouldn't be able to do it, and you're living in the same country, I'm like, well, if someone on the other side of the world can run a pageant and ship you guys ring lights, which subsequently kill people such as Chloe, and swimsuits and things like that, I'm like, you don't really have any excuse when you're in the same country. I think a lot of it is the director, and some of them are not willing to move up to date with the times, and you can see that sometimes in their social media. There's some pageant systems here that haven't posted since, like, let's call it a year. And I just think, if you're serious about running your pageant as a brand and as a business, and you haven't posted in a year, I think that doesn't speak great things for how seriously you take it as a business. And the queens, I got to say as well, if you're a queen and you haven't posted anything vaguely pageant related in months or a year, I seriously consider giving your crown back. That sounds harsh, but I mean, the number of people who just said, well, it's a pandemic, I can't do anything.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good enough. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think it's acceptable when you're got the crown, to just go, well, can't do anything, everything's cancelled, I just give up? I mean, I don't think that's okay. What do you guys think?
Absolutely not. That is, I think it's just an excuse. Like, I can understand people's morale is low. They want to go to their pageants. They want to, you know, get out there in their community. But there's other ways to get in touch with your community. There's loads of volunteering you can do online. There's loads of appearances you can do online. You don't have to, you know, leave your house to be able to do the work, you know, and you have to adapt. It's so important. If you've had this honour bestowed on you, you need to make the most of every single second that you have with that crown. And just by sitting at home with it collecting dust, you're not doing anything to help your organisation. And if you've got an international to go to, you don't even bother going, because if you haven't done the work, there's no way that you can take that international title.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, I mean, you've seen Nadia, how many, I was actually going to ask Nadia how it's felt being Miss Universe Ireland, because when you were first crowned, you said it didn't feel real. It's now, what, a couple of months? So what's the emotional journey been like? Has it sunk in now, or are you feeling something different?
A bit more.
You're a Miss Universe title holder now. I mean, it's the biggest system in the world, and you're the national title holder. I don't know if it's sunk in. It hasn't really sunk in for me either, because I knew you before you even announced that you were competing in Miss Universe Ireland, because when I first organised to interview Nadia, it was like as Miss Intercontinental. And then I think it was 48 hours before I interviewed her, she announced that she was a finalist. I'm like, thanks, Nadia. Now I'm going to have to change all the copy. And now you are the title holder. I mean, how does it feel?
It's still, there's still that element of it's not real. In that one thing, I don't think it'll ever seem like it'll fully sink in. And I've spoken to Grania and Fig and Colleen about this as well. And that's what they'd said. They were like, no matter what, there's always going to be that aspect that seems like a dream. But it's still now, I'd say it took easily a few weeks for it to even sink in enough for me to kind of level out and think of next steps. So the first few weeks, as well, it was over Christmas. It was just before lockdown again was announced. My mum had just got married like the day before I was crowned. There was a lot of things happening in that time. So I know I was very like emotional, as you could see in the video. But so it definitely was a bit of a roller coaster at the start, just to try and find my feet and think, oh my goodness, I have this big job now. Like they've given it to me, and what am I going to do now to actually make it worth everything? Do you know what I mean? I want my time here to be worth something. Even if it is in lockdown, like you said, there's always something that can be done. So whenever kind of the holidays were over and we started to talk to the team then and get the ball rolling on even things like planning outfits and getting interviews, it started to sink in a bit more. And now it still is strange, because obviously I am Miss Universe Ireland, but I have not seen anybody. This crown has not been outside my house. My friends and the people that I would be close to around pageants, and even the team, I haven't seen them. So it is strange in that way. But I'm doing, my workload has definitely increased, but for the good. So I think now it's just, I'm trying to focus on taking one day at a time, trying to be organized and making sure that I set myself a month at a time to be like, right, what can I achieve this month? So that at the end of the month, I can sit with Brittany and say, this month I've done this, 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 and this. Because I don't want there to be any time where there's nothing that has been accomplished.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Like, you've been doing incredible so far.
Oh, thank you.
Agree.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you're a pretty self-motivated person. I just want to ask, in terms of Brittany, how hands-on has she been in guiding you with what to do? As I said, I would imagine you had lots of plans anyway, but how much conversation has there been between you and herself in terms of what should I do next?
Well, we talk in general every couple of days. She's always kind of at the end of the phone, which is really positive. I was talking to her about an hour before doing this as well, just about the live that I did before that. And with regards to what kind of plans we're doing, we sat and had an initial meeting as a team. And we were like, right, what do we want to achieve as a year? What do I want to achieve here? What as a team do we want to get for the brand? And what charities do we want to try and highlight and talk most about? And then every couple of weeks we kind of touch base on, right, what has been checked off, what are we doing next, how is this progressing? So there's still a lot of input from Brittany. She's very much letting me take the lead in that any idea I come up with is being heard. But she's also, like, you know yourself, very creative, and she knows this world inside and out. So she's coming to me with ideas and saying, right, what do you think of this? What way can we change it to make it more you? So it is still very much centered around who I am and how I want to do my reign, but obviously with help.
Of course. I mean, that's what she's there for. Danielle and Chloe, if you have any questions for Nadia, feel free to jump in. I just want to ask one more. Can you explain a little bit more about the work you do with the superheroes and the mental health, because I've been watching bits and pieces and I haven't quite got the whole picture yet. I've seen superheroes and I know mental health. How do the two go together? And comic books?
Yes, so it is a bit complex if you don't hear it kind of in a linear way.
I'm just stupid. It's okay.
So I work for a mental health charity, and we were always in early intervention charity. So we focus more on training and awareness and being hands-on to teach primarily young people and children tools that they can use and adapt so that they don't end up having their mental health declining into a difficult time. So early intervention is where I've kind of found more of my interest in, because it's somewhere that can be really neglected. And basically, a few years back, my boss had went to a meeting, because we always just did training for mainly adults or corporates. And she went and asked teachers, like, what do you need? Because teachers can get very stressed. And the one thing that came out of all of the focus groups was that the teachers were most stressed about their kids' well-being, because they're not trained. Teachers get maybe one day of training on mental health, but it's such a prevalent thing that comes up every day. And they'd all kind of come to a consensus of, let's figure out something that we can do to help these young people. So again, the place I work is very much youth-led. They don't do something just because it's an idea. They do something and they'll do focus groups with kids, and they'll go out and talk to kids to see if it's worthwhile.
Wow.
So they actually had a focus group of young people and asked them to come up with some ideas. And then our team went away to come up with some ideas of how they could present it, how they could make it fun, because people learn better and more quickly when they're having fun and engaging. And both groups actually came back and said about superheroes, because...
Oh, wow. They had the same idea.
Yeah, they both came back with about 10 ideas, and they both came back with superheroes. And that's when my boss says she just thought it was golden, because the fact that both of them had come back with it, kids were really interested in it. Marvel obviously was doing a lot of work. DC was doing a lot of work. And they all see and automatically associate superheroes as positive, good things in your life, things that are helpful. And villains are these external, dark, mysterious forces that do damage to you. But they're not part of you. They can impact you, but they're not a part of you. And that very much explains a lot of the things that cause poor mental health or mental health decline that you can bring in and think are a part of you, but they're not. So whenever we originally were coming up with the superheroes, we thought, right, we'll do comics. But if the comics are being done, they must be relatable. So each comic is based on a true story from a young person. A young person who has been through their own stuff. Yeah, and they come to us and they share their story. And in many ways, it's positive because it gives it reliability that other kids see this actually happened. So it's likely. And they also get hope, because they see, well, this young person went through this and they were from an hour away from me, but they've got through it because they did this, and this. And it's okay to feel that way, and it's okay to get this help. So we cover a lot of different topics. Every comic is based on a true story. The superheroes all have a meaning. So we have Nadia, and her name is Taiwanese for hope. And we have Veritas, that's Latin for truth. We have Invictus.
Nadia, is this on social anywhere that I can bring it up whilst you're talking about? Whereabouts is it on social?
These are called the Uberheroes NI. So if you go onto Instagram, it's at Uberheroes NI.
Okay, let me just bring it up so that you can actually see what Nadia is talking about, because this is fascinating to me. Uberheroes NI. All right, so here we go. I'll share the screen so you guys and Nadia can see it as well. There you go.
Yep, there we go. So the guy at the green background, he's called Fortress. He's all about physical and mental strength and well-being working together. There we go. So it tells you he represents resilience and strength. It tells you his day job. They all have aliases. And then we also have villains. And villains can represent a range of different things. So we have the Lamenter, which is the guy, the black background up at the top. There we go. So we have the Lamenter, and that stands for grief, and he stops you. He can stop you in the 5 stages of grieving at any stage that he wants. So you can't escape that and get better. So then, like, for instance, Nadia, Hope would come in and help fight him. They don't do the work, but they help the young person fight these these bad, evil kind of influences.
Oh.
So basically we use the comics as a springboard into a conversation about mental health. And when we're in the classroom reading through the comics and talking about the issues that come up, the kids are able to open up more because they talk about it nearly in a third person. We'll never say, how did you feel about this? We'll say, for instance, Sophie is our lead character in our lockdown comic. So we'll say, well, what might Sophie have been scared of during lockdown? And then it gives the kids that little blanket of security that they know they can say, well, Sophie maybe was worried about losing someone and they don't feel vulnerable. But we know that they're sharing their fears and their worries, and then we can help them come up with solutions.
Nadia, where
so
can people
smart.
get these comics from, or are they being distributed through schools directly?
So the actual hard copy comics we bring into schools, and we do hopefully have plans to be able to go further with them. It's just at the minute we're a team of 3 full-time staff.
Okay.
That's the whole charity. But if you go online to www.uberheroesni, if you Google Uber Heroes, you'll find it. Whenever you go onto the website, we have...
Is it this one here, Nadia, uberheroes.co.uk?
Yep, that's us. So they are the 5 original Uber Heroes, and we have about 26 now, and the kids have created new heroes and new villains. That guy, he created, that wee boy, he created 2 villains during lockdown, or 2 heroes. He created Sanso Robodog, and that's Korean for oxygen. And he created Curador, and he is a hero for the NHS.
Wow.
So the comics are there, the bios on all of the heroes and villains are on there. There are articles that are for parents, and that can help parents with different things like how to deal with their children's anxiety. Kids can submit their own story or their own villain. And we're always running competitions. So for instance, right now we're doing the Kindness Awards. And we actually just got all the submissions in today because the cutoff was Friday, and I sat reading them, and I'm not going to lie, I cried for a lot of the day.
Yeah.
I cried so much because these young people and these children, the things that they were doing just to put a smile on someone's face during the pandemic was amazing. So we're hoping to have like an online ceremony and party for them to be able to celebrate those little acts of kindness that make such a big difference.
Oh,
Well,
that's so cool.
there you
Such
go,
a
guys.
creative
That's-
way of like just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and
It-
so
it-
creative.
It allows the kids to be creative, and it helps them to talk about how they're feeling in a less traditional way, so they don't feel as put in place. I know I've spoke to some art therapists, I've done work with them before, and they've requested that they can use these comics with the kids in art therapy to help them to talk about their emotions. So hopefully we'll get up and running a lot more now over the next few years.
Which one is you, Nadia?
Well, actually, Nadase is Taiwanese for hope, and my name also means hope, so they're derivatives of each other. So that's the ninja.
Is this the one as I was reading with super-powered hair?
Yep.
That sounds like you.
Love it.
And she can do
She just needs a
parkour.
crown.
I can't do that.
I wouldn't put it past you. But that's amazing. I mean, we've all seen a lot of mental health campaigns and awareness, and that this is something very, very different. And I think that would really, really, I mean, that frankly appeals to me because I love superheroes because I'm 2 years old at heart. Because people need to be entertained.
Yeah.
That's when, as Nadia was saying, it's called edutainment. If you think of uni lectures, for example, and they bored the pants off you, 5 minutes felt like an hour. Whereas we can go and watch a Marvel movie or a DC movie or maybe not a DC movie, but a Marvel movie that's 3 hours long, and it feels like 5 minutes because you're entertained all the time. So I think this is really, really a great idea. Is there any way that, I know it's aimed mainly at kids, but is there any way that you would like to see queens, or is there an opportunity for queens such as a Danielle or Chloe to get involved?
Oh, always. We're always open to ideas on how people want to get involved as well. Like I say, we're such a small team. There's only so much that we can do. So if anyone has any ideas on what we could do, even if it's on social media, let us know. If anyone wants to get involved, we'll always find a way of getting you involved.
That's amazing. It needs to be in every school. Like, I feel like these like comics need to go to all the schools. They need to be distributed everywhere globally.
So what we primarily work in Northern Ireland at the moment, but we have had requests as far as Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Ireland, the UK, people requesting the comics. But a lot of the time we need to have trainers trained to talk about the comics with the kids, because they are a good story, and they deal with a lot of difficult issues depending on which comic it is. And we need people there that are able to pick up on children and watch the room, as well as, it's nearly like if you open the wound, you need to be able to close it. We don't want to go in and do any big serious conversations, but we want to talk about what's important and open that dialogue, but we need to be able to close it safely as well for their sake. So up until now, it's been trying to figure out how to control being able to give them out more, so that we are actually able to train people to do it. But it is something that we're hoping over the next year, we've got plans in place to be able to do it and be able to open it up further.
It's incredible. You could even go as far as getting like psychiatrists to dress up as the heroes.
We actually, whenever events are on, we have actors who dress up as the heroes. We have costumes, and they do that. Normally we read the comic and get the kids to do role plays in the classroom, but because of COVID we can't do that, because we were in classrooms when schools are open. We're in classrooms even during the pandemic, because it's mental health. So I've been in schools for as long as they've been open, since September, and obviously we couldn't get the kids to get up and role play, so we contacted actors from England and Ireland, and they all in their homes recorded the different pieces of the comic, and we put it all together to make this big audio. And it's professional actors that are on Netflix. And one of the guys, he's in the next Sony Picture Marvel movie. He plays a part in that movie, and the kids just love it. But as well, we have an Ask an Uber Hero helpline on our website, where if the kids want to ask a question about anything, sometimes it's a disclosure, sometimes it's a question about a hero, they can go on there and they can ask someone, and that line is manned by professionals and counsellors and psychology professionals, and they will get a reply within 24 hours guaranteed.
Incredible. That is
so cute.
I just love this whole thing. It's just so fascinating, and it makes such a difference, and it's just beautiful.
It's aimed at kids as well, which is really important, because as Nadia said, early intervention, because if you can get people early, then it has a huge magnified effect. And also if you teach one, each one teaches one, you can absolutely blow this whole thing up. Nadia, you were saying that you had the actors come in, so was it an audio, or did they actually act it out in costumes as well, and there was a video, or was it just audio?
No, so because it was during lockdown, it was just audio. So what they did is we obviously gave them their part and their script, but they recorded just their parts, and then we had someone master coffee with them all together. And it sounds really good now, and the kids just love to hear it, because before they've never heard the voices of the heroes, and each hero comes from somewhere different. So like we have Dominic comes from the Orkney Islands.
Oh wow.
I don't even know where that is.
It's got like a Scottish accent. And it's a wee island out there. And then so we have heroes from South Africa, we have New Zealand heroes, and then the kids came up with an idea during lockdown. They asked, were our 5 original heroes just for Europe, or were they for the whole world? Because coronavirus it's the whole world. So the kids then created 5 original heroes for every continent. And our lockdown comic is the first comic that they've all kind of come together to show they're fighting together against coronavirus.
So it's like an Avengers movie. It's like a team up.
Yes.
Superhero team up.
They have like one page where they all come together. It's like an Avengers movie where they're fight with the villains are called Coronabot 2020 and Kuroman. They're Koroman in that page, so they're fighting against him.
Amazing.
I love it.
I love this. I really do. I
Yeah.
feel like a big kid. I want these comics. Like, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, the Queen, so you could get Queens involved, obviously spreading awareness, because that is something that Queens do very well. Whether it's sharing a photo of the 5 heroes or something like that. The other thing I was thinking of, if you have actors on board already who can do the voices, you might actually be able to turn it into a genuine cartoon. Because it's not because of what you're doing. I think a lot of people would be willing to do it for free. Because it's a worthwhile cause, or at the very least a lot cheaper. And there are people who are so creative these days, it's crazy. They can create cartoons, whereas normally it needed a team of people before. If you showed them your characters, they would actually be able to sketch it, and you could actually, if you have the audio already, they might actually be able to turn it into a cartoon for you. So then you're not just playing the audio, you might actually be able to have an actual cartoon out there. It wouldn't be. It probably wouldn't be an animated one like you see on Netflix or something like that. But there are people who can sketch things, and in real time, and they can bring it to life. Or there are people who do. I don't know if you've seen these, what they call doodly videos. They're like kind of like cartoons, and they get filled in. Yeah, and that people can do that, and they can maybe you can only have, I don't know how many cells you have in the comic or how many pages, but if they did a few, you have the audio added in. And there you go. You got a video, and I'd want to see that. I mean, it's funny because it's like Chloe was saying, she wants to own the. We all want to do it because it's got cartoons and superheroes involved.
Well, the audio for the lockdown comic is now up. It's uploaded onto our YouTube channel, the Uber Heroes NI YouTube. So the audio is up there, and the comic is on the website if anyone wants to kind of go and listen to it and follow it. But we have, I think it's 14 comics now out.
Do you distribute to parents?
So the way if anyone wants to contact us and get some, we can. We're trying to work with parents a lot more now. It's just trying to find out the right ways of doing that. So at the moment, we were actually running this, not even like a competition, just like a call for parents to share their lockdown and homeschool working advice, tips, failures that are something to laugh about. And we've had some good entries because then it means it normalizes it for other parents. Like a lot of stuff we have in is just like parents saying, we tried this, it didn't work, but sure, we're just trying to get through each day. And that's literally what they're doing. And I think it's just that needs to be normalized, that everyone is just trying to get through the day.
I think that would be so like an amazing tool for parents, especially for example the comic about grief. If you've lost a loved one, it could be quite beneficial for a parent to sit down with their child with this comic book and read it and go over the story, and then have that conversation. It kind of opens up the conversation and makes it easier than having to sit your child down and being the bearer of bad news or having to talk about something that's seen as quite adult. It's kind of breaking it down to them, and it's a good way to communicate that. I think it'd be a really amazing tool. And
it's another way, I suppose that's another way we could be working at it, and it's something that's worth doing, because at the moment all the kids get a comic, they get a copy of the comic, they can keep it, they bring it home. If they want us in for anything else, we come in and we do other comics. And the kids and the parents and the teachers can request we come in and cover certain topics. And again, the purpose of them having the comic and taking it home, because they're always surprised that they get to keep it. But the purpose is that they bring it home and their parent asks, what is this? Like, what is it about? And they will talk about those things that they learned, and they'll maybe bring up conversations around, like you say, grief or anxiety or stress or more serious topics, because we do cover such a range now. But it's the stuff that we know these young people talk about. We know they understand, but we also know often adults don't talk to them about it because they think they don't understand. And we've had that sometimes where teachers have thought that maybe this comic is too much. But whenever we've actually went in and done it, and when we talk to them and tell them how we do it, they're very good, because they know that we have a great duty of care to their kids and we really will look after them. But whenever we're in there, the conversations that open up, the teachers are shocked at just how much these kids know and understand.
Yeah, kids aren't stupid. I think this is a thing that a lot of adults and sometimes teachers, because teachers are adults, don't understand. Kids pick up on everything.
Everything.
They may not be able to language it. They may not be able to, they may not want to talk about it, but I guarantee you they pick up on it.
Yeah.
So if you're an adult or you got kids, you're watching this and you think you can hide something important from your kids, I guarantee you they've picked up on it like 10,000%.
If they don't bring it up, or if you ask them once and they don't bring it up, give it some time and ask again, or find a different way of asking, because it's so hard for children to put an actual narrative, like you say, to how they're feeling sometimes, especially if they're confused or if they think it's something they're going to get in trouble for overhearing.
Exactly.
Almost every class I go into, I ask who's overheard something they weren't meant to. And I would say 90% of the time, everyone puts their hands up. And then I say, okay, who asked the adult then about it? And maybe 2 or 3 of them put their hands up. And it's because they maybe know they weren't meant to be listening, but they overheard it. Or maybe they're too scared to find out an answer. Or maybe their parent just isn't comfortable speaking about it either, because the parents haven't been taught how to have these conversations. So that's something we want to work on as well, and talk to parents about and work with parents.
I mean, the thing to remember is that people of our age now are becoming parents. So, I mean, Nadia, you were talking about you felt like it was playing with, make-believe sort of stuff, getting married and buying a house. But people our age and younger are getting married and having kids. And if you imagine what we would be like as parents, we certainly wouldn't be perfect at it by any means. I mean, I've worked a lot with kids, and even me, it'd be like, geez, because I work with kids, I'm not sure I'd want the responsibility. I mean, because I know, like, if the saddest thing to me is seeing a parent, unfortunately, who thought having a kid was a great idea. Like, they thought it was their purpose in life. They had the kid, and then they realized somehow that it's too much for them, and they kind of disown the kid. They give them the iPad or the iPhone rather than spending quality time with them. And I say this because I worked with so many of those kids, and it will break your heart every single time, because you can tell this kid doesn't feel loved. Even though they don't say it that way, you can just tell, like, they want someone to listen to them because no one listens to them. I had a conversation with a kid once when I was coaching tennis, and he just dropped in a sentence that he didn't know who his dad was. It's like, but what does that mean? And I didn't want to just, what do you mean? I was like, so did your dad pass away? Did he move away? I think, and I never really got to the bottom of it because it's difficult to sort of, I found it difficult to talk about. I think it ended up that he was adopted. But he didn't know how to language it. And it was really sad because that was on Father's Day. So I had a tennis lesson on Father's Day. All the other kids were at school with their dads. This one kid turned up. Can you imagine? You're the one kid who turns up because you don't have a dad. How would that screw up your life? That's why it's so important to talk about these topics. And Nadia's spot on, talking, like, even if you just saw the comic there and you saw the topic of it, it might actually broach the conversation, and that conversation could save a child's life. Yeah. And so even
like Children's Mental Health Week, instead of rhyming out stats or throwing out numbers of children who have mental health problems, the charity and myself, instead, we tried to think of ways that we could give parents help. And it was just maybe a paragraph of, like, get creative. If you think something's up, try and find a different way of talking about it. It could be drawing pictures. It could be maybe sitting down and playing games together, because that distraction sometimes can help open dialogue. Anything. Using creativity and art sometimes works for a lot of kids, because it is a distraction whilst they let their mind kind of open up a little bit more, and it's not a serious conversation that they're scared of. As well as just going easy on themselves.
You find in a lot of documentaries with children where they're talking to the children about sometimes quite, hard topics. You find the kids are painting or drawing, and then it becomes more of a relaxed conversation. Like adding that element of creativity, I think, is a good way to communicate, because kids relaxed. Art therapy.
Well, I mean, we've all seen kids that have ADD, can't sit still. I mean, they call it ADD now, but very often those kids are the ones who just can't sit still. They need to move their body to express themselves. I mean, Danielle, you're a dancer, so you know well, there's something, different people communicate different ways. Some people will speak, some people will sing, some people need to draw. And, when you got kids, let's be honest, you got 30 kids in a classroom, let's say, and some of these teachers, they're boring. We've all had the boring teacher, right? And, you had this boring teacher as a 5-year-old kid going on and on about something you don't care about. And then the teacher says that, you're moving around too much, little Timmy must have ADD. It's not. It's because as an adult, sometimes you're so boring and like facts. I mean, Nadia was talking about facts. The old marketing adage is facts tell, stories sell. If you really want to get a message across, you have to tell it in a story form, which is why we tell kids fairy tales or they like cartoons. A superhero cartoon doesn't just tell you figures. It very often just has one moral of the story. Yeah. But that moral gets across because it's told in a story form. So I think I think it's fascinating. I could talk about it for ages, but it'd be great if you could get the queens involved because this is something else.
I will definitely talk about it in the morning meeting.
Well, I mean, they're all looking for something to support. And I was talking about this, I think, last week. When you have such an option of causes to support, it can be difficult to work out which one to support because normally with the pageant, you have an advocacy and that advocacy is mutually exclusive. So if I do something for the environment, I'm not also doing mental health. It's like not very often you have multiple advocacies for one pageant. So, but I think doing something with kids is huge because kids, as cliche as it sounds, are the future. If you can help kids, it's helping the entire world and it's going to help us when we're old and grey and we forget our names and stuff like that, which some of us, it's not that far away. But, I want the world to be a better place when I leave it. And I want to know that someone has worked with the kids to help them deal with some of the stuff that, frankly, we've probably screwed up. So I think working with kids would be great. So, yeah. Get the queens involved. Give them something to do. Chloe can do a TikTok about it. She's a TikTok queen.
Oh, well, that's one of the great things about the way this is all delivered. There's so much creativity involved and I'll give it to the rest of my team. They're phenomenal. They're so open to anything and everything that is brought to the table. Because their only tick box that they always want addressed is, how is this going to somehow benefit the children? That is the only thing that must be always in the forefront of your mind. And if you're confused about something or if you're questioning something, that's what you ask yourself. How is this going to benefit the kids?
Well, social media wise, they're on TikTok now.
Well, yeah, I think it's a slightly older end of the kids that might be on TikTok. So maybe, I don't know if superheroes would be quite, because I'm guessing, the majority of people on TikTok are probably like 14 and above. I that's what I get a feeling
teenagers,
for, like
teens,
teenagers. Whereas I feel like this would really benefit those that are probably a bit younger, that kind of 7. I don't know what the age range you
we do
target.
kind of, I would say 8 years old up to about 13, 14. That transition from school age is our
moving
primary.
into that's what I feel like that target market would suit. So maybe if there's something they've used the Uber heroes, and then what comes next, then that's the kind of, for the older children, the TikTok, the kind of transitioning into becoming an adult, really. So it'd be that the prequel after Uber heroes, then
the sequel.
that's what I'm trying to get
prequel after, otherwise known as the sequel.
Sequel, sorry, not the
I'm
prequel.
so excited.
The prequel was before. Getting confused, the prequel after. It's okay, we get what you mean. But yeah, I agree. Like, that's why I think if you could turn it into an actual cartoon, that would be amazing, because kids love cartoons. And why not watch a cartoon about this? You've got the voices, just need to find someone who can do the drawing, and it's actually a lot easier than you probably think. I mean, I'm amazed at what people can do. I put up in terms of creativity, I put up a TikTok the other day. Someone made Conor McGregor's face out of Rubik's cubes. they used, I think it was 200 or 400 Rubik's Cubes,
Oh
and
my
goodness.
they turned it so this guy obviously knew how to solve Rubik's Cubes, which by itself is amazing.
Yes.
But he would have to create a certain pattern on the
Create a
Rubik's
face.
Cubes, and then he put like, I think 300, 400, and he made the face. Like you look at it and go, well, that's Conor McGregor, and he made it out of Rubik's Cubes. That's the level of creativity that we have
Oh my goodness.
in modern. Like I wouldn't spend that much time to do that, but think about that skill. So you look at it and go, wow, that's Conor McGregor's face. That's amazing. What's the actual skill? Being able to do a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Which is very similar to what you've done with what your team has done with the superheroes. Like taking something that maybe is not a sexy idea to talk about, like mental health, and you've turned it into a superhero comic, which everyone wants to talk about. So you kind of you're sliding in there through the entertainment avenue, which is amazing. So anyway, anyone got any other questions for Nadia? We've been talking about this for a long time. So
Would you be considering delivering like a course in how to deliver the comics? Yeah. Because I know that in the world of pageantry, there are a lot of queens that are studying to become, therapists or, community workers. I think that'd be another way to get on board and use their expertise and maybe creating a course or a collaboration and how to, and obviously these queens are all around the world, not just in the UK and Ireland. I think that'd be really a good thing to tap in that underlining network, but without making it pageanty, because you don't want it to be pageanty. You want it to be out there in the community and actually getting the work done. But there's quite a few queens that could actually, help.
I'm so excited for you guys to see what we do in the next few months.
Sneaky little grin there, Nadia. Okay.
So excited.
Well, watch this space, as they say. But yeah, that's an amazing idea that Danielle had, because that's the way to scale it, so that you're not just doing it yourself. If you can teach people how to do it,
that's what we
you
have
just
to
become
do.
viral.
In reality, we have to create the course, create the resources that then they can use, teaching plans, sort of things, do training with them so they feel okay about that, and then create that network that we can provide support to them for providing support to the children. So it's the only way we, I suppose, nearly can grow and want to grow, because we always want it to be, like I say, youth-led and always done with care. And we don't want it to lose its message ever, because then it's just any other comic. So that's in the plans for the next little while.
Amazing.
I can see you monitoring what you're saying to make sure you don't let the cat out of the bag.
Make sure I don't get told off in the morning call.
It's too late now. It's out there for everyone. Speaking of worthy causes, Chloe, have you heard anything about Alone? Has there been any progress on that?
No, I just filled out my online training session. So they sent me a link and I filled that out, and they said just to email them back when that's complete. And they said it could take up to 2 months to get paired with your elderly person. That'll be quite sweet.
Oh, it's so cute.
I know. It was so sweet because like in the footage that they were showing, it was showing some of the volunteers at the moment, and just the friendships that they made were just so adorable. There was one of the volunteers was taking their elderly person to the cinema, and it was just the most adorable thing. I just can't wait to like form a friendship with someone and hear their stories and maybe get a little friend for my nana. Like I'm just so excited about doing that. So yeah,
that's amazing.
It's funny, they say that the kids and the elderly have more in common with each other than with the people in the middle, and I think it's really true. The other sad thing they say is kids, everyone's born perfect, and then we spend the rest of our lives trying to get back to that, which, having worked a lot with kids, I would 100% agree with, because as a kid, there's nothing wrong with you. And then it's kind of sad when you start learning that there is something apparently wrong with you. And then we spend the rest of our lives trying to learn to accept and love ourselves again, which is, us humans are a bit funny at times, aren't we?
We're very complex indeed.
Well, this got really deep and meaningful.
It did, didn't it?
That was, we need to lighten the mood.
I was gonna say you get.
There you go.
Oh god! I was gonna
Adrian's
say
just think,
you're
he's
gonna start
thinking, how am I going to
asking.
edit this?
I really enjoyed this actually. It's probably the first time in a long time that we've actually sat down in the podcast and had like a serious conversation. Yeah, it's very heartwarming. I just love what you do, Nadia. It's just
Yeah,
incredible.
it is really fascinating. I
It's
could literally talk about it for ages.
yeah,
I'm just so lucky to be a part of that team. Do you know what I mean? And they are fantastic people, and they're there for the right reasons, and they do their work for the right reasons, and that makes the world a difference.
I was going to ask a question, Nadia. How are you guys funded? Are you self-funded? Do you take donations? Is it from the government?
We get no government funding. No, we are funded by, we're always just applying to different community grants and funding pots and hoping for donations or corporates, hoping for corporates to sponsor us, because it costs about £10,000 per batch of comic books, and now we have 13 comic books. So that's the bare minimum before even going out and delivering, because again, if we give them, say, a comic book, or that it is more like a leaflet, those kids aren't going to actually keep that or look back at it or talk to their friends about it. They're not going to see that value in it. So we need it to be something that they can be proud of, and as well, the people whose story it is can be proud of, rather than something that they're embarrassed to see.
Yeah.
So
it needs the delivery with it. It needs
exactly.
It needs to be,
and we need to be able to respect the person who shared their story. But no, we are always just applying for funding pots, emailing corporate big businesses and little businesses to see if they can support us, and taking donations.
Okay, well, that's definitely another way that pageant queens can get involved in. Raising awareness, raising funds. There you go. I'm about to do a couple of business projects, and I'm looking for a charity to support, because I can really only support one. And I think I'd like to support yours. I think that's an amazing what you're doing. I wanted to work with kids, and it was kind of, I was saying this last week. I was talking about children who are sex slavery, sex trafficking, which is a horrible thing, and it mainly affects young women and their children. And that's still something I'd like to support. But my thinking is always, the people in the world who can do the most are in the Western world in general, because they have so much power, we have so much wealth compared to a lot of other countries in the world, right?
Yeah.
And if we can help ourselves become healthy, mentally and physically, and well adjusted, then to me that has a massive flow-on effect. I can either help one person, myself, or I can help one person to help thousands of people. Yeah. And I think mental health, we all know, is a huge issue. And if we could help Nadia's team produce some of these comics and impact 10 kids' lives, 100 kids' lives, 10,000 kids' lives, then that effect could be massive, like flow-on. So I think that's something that I'd like to do. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. And I encourage everyone else to think about that as well. Because, I mean, I talked about this as well. Charity, sometimes it's a kind of a Band-Aid solution. And there's a lot of mental health organizations that do great work, but it is kind of a Band-Aid as much as it's needed. So, for example, I used to volunteer for Lifeline here. Lifeline is a 24/7 free crisis service. And I volunteered there. I thought it was going to be a lot of suicidal people. It wasn't. It was mainly homeless people who were very lonely and just wanted to talk, which is very sad. I get it. But a crisis line kind of was a Band-Aid solution because the same people would keep phoning again and again and again. And that's honestly why I stopped, because I felt that wasn't what I wanted to do with my time. Full respect to people who do it, because it's heavy stuff. When you have someone on the other side of the line who's going to take their life, and we had a button. We had a button to press if someone was in danger, and then they'd be able to track the number and send the police there. It was heavy stuff. But as Nadia, you began this conversation with early intervention. If you can get in front of it to the point where you don't have to have something like Lifeline, I mean, that would be the dream, right? We didn't have to have mental health crisis lines, because people knew what to do and people were looking out for themselves and people valued themselves. That'd be the absolute dream. So, yeah. Let's see, Chloe, when you host, we have a much, I'm not going to say a higher quality podcast, but we can make a real difference when you host, you see? So you should be the host. And you were nervous. How are you feeling up in the top left square, by the way?
Yeah, I feel amazing after tonight. Nadia is just an incredible guest to have on, and thank you so much for taking your time out to join us tonight in the podcast. You have been incredible, and really, I believe she's inspired us all tonight. I think we all kind of want to
Absolutely.
Oh,
make a difference.
Don't cry,
Incredible.
Nadia, please.
I won't.
Put it on camera.
I'm all cried out today. Don't worry, you're all safe. No, I will always come here anytime you guys will have me. You're like a little pageant family to me now. I've annoyed you that much and just kept coming back.
We
No,
love
the
you.
annoying is Danielle. That's not you.
Yeah. Hey,
Speaking
this is why I'm
Danielle,
here, though.
you got any more dad jokes for us so I can use the sound effect?
No more dad jokes. No more dad jokes. I just want to say that, Nadia, I'm so excited for your journey at Miss Universe. Because I know that you're going to be sharing this message. You're, such a worthwhile cause. And I think once you get on that, international stage and share this platform, it's really I think it's just going to be amazing. And yeah, I can't wait.
Thank you so much.
Because you have so many layers to what you do, and this is your work. This is your body of work, what you do day in, day out. And I just feel like that endearing and caring side is needed in a Miss Universe, and that is you. And yeah, I just can't wait to see you,
especially now more than ever. Now more than ever, like Miss Universe need you. They need you. This is the next Miss Universe.
Oh, thank you so much, guys.
The world needs you as well, not just Miss Universe. But can I just say as well, what I love especially is that you're not doing it for attention, because you were doing this before the pageant. Yeah, and I gotta say, I take my hat off to people like, and Chloe as well, doing something like volunteering with Alana, and not doing it because it's going to be appearance points. I really respect that, because there are far too many people who just do it for attention, and if they don't win the crown, they stop. I really hate that. One of my pet peeves. So for you guys to be doing what you're doing without, getting likes on Instagram or stuff like that, I really take my hat off to that, because that's something that we need more of as well. So, Chloe, have we forgotten anything, or are we ready to wrap up?
We are ready to wrap up. So how are you guys going to be finishing off the week then? I'll start with Danielle. Oh, what's this thing?
Oh, yeah.
Look at you, the pro. You know which way to point.
The pro. I don't think else I've got planned. So I was in a car accident. I didn't say anything last week. I was in a car accident on Friday. So just sorting out my car. I'm okay. I'm fine. I thought I had a bit of whiplash at the time. I was coming. Is
your car okay?
No, the car is not okay.
Oh no!
Was it the car that I was in? Your little washing machine?
It was my little toaster. We don't even call it a washing machine, but the toaster has gone bang. I was coming off the motorway, and a woman in front of me stopped on the motorway for some reason.
No.
I managed to stop before her with a good 3 meter distance between us, but unfortunately the car behind didn't see us stop, and he went into the back of me at about 65 miles per hour, shunted me forward, and then hit the car in front of me. And it was scary because I was looking in the rearview mirror, and
there's
I could
nothing
see
you can do.
This guy is not slowing down.
Yep.
And so I've been going through a bit of a headache for insurances, so I've got to get the car
that sucks.
Taken to the garage. So it's just been sorting that mess out. Obviously it was not my fault, so I get a nice I got everything
still
covered.
Pain
so
in the neck.
It's just still a pain. But the guy that went into the back of me was very good. He checked on me. I was fine. The driver in front, however, drove away from the scene. So I had to report it to the police because they did actually cause 3 offences. So having to deal with not only just the insurance stuff, but like the police side of it all, and doing reports and stuff. So that's what I've got to do for the rest of the week. Other than that, I'm just be working on the pageant stylist. I'm also working on my platform as well, which I've been working on for the past couple of months. So I hopefully will be launching that very soon. Very exciting. yeah, I've been talking about it to a few friends and they're really excited for it. So just hopefully get that launched. So that's my week.
Did you just start up a new Instagram account and add me? Was that you?
I did. That was me. Yes.
Okay. All right. We can announce that later. I was like, they seem to be followed by all of your accounts. I was like, it's probably Danielle, but you'll have to tell me more about that. But sorry to hear about the toaster. That sucks.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens about the toaster, or whether I have to get a new one.
A new toaster.
Oh.
Maybe
new
upgrade
toaster.
to a microwave oven.
Well, at least I'm not brown bread.
Jesus. Hang on.
Slow.
Yeah.
Hey!
All right. I was looking at my Instagram because I wanted to find the thing you tagged me.
It caught you off guard there. You thought you were done.
Yeah.
So
There was this
Adrian,
TikTok.
how
What were you going to say, Chloe?
Oh, I was saying, what are your plans for the rest of the week?
Well, sorting out a couple of next sort of big projects. There's a couple of ideas floating around for the pageant stuff, for the pageant project, and I will do both. It's just a question, I think, of which one goes first, but I think I found a way of doing both at the same time. But I put up a sticker about, are people more interested in launching an online business, or people more interested in me getting the queens that I know together, because I've got a huge Rolodex, and getting them together to do like a pageant summit. But a pageant summit with people who actually know what they're talking about. I shouldn't say that, but people who've been at the highest levels, especially people, I mean, there's obviously people like Nadia, who has the biggest title in the world in terms of pageant space, but there are people also who've won multiple Grand Slam titles. We have one here in Australia. She's won Earth and International. Emma Jenkins has won World and Universe. So I think picking the brains of people like that, people who really know what they're talking about, I think would be absolutely fascinating. So that's something that I really, really want to do. But also, there's a lot of people who are struggling with money and not having a job at the moment. And there's a lot of people who'd like to turn their passion into a full-time job. I'm one of those people. So I'm learning how to do that myself. And I think I'll bring some people along for the ride with me. And also, Nadia and Danielle, I'm putting together Chloe's roast video. So since Chloe asked, I'll be getting each of you to do something for it. I won't tell Chloe. Chloe, you asked for this?
Yeah,
But what?
I'm scared.
You should be. You asked for it.
My best friend got me to deliver this speech at his wedding. This was like 15 years ago. He still remembers it to this day, and people still talk about it. It ended up with him on the floor.
Laughing or eating?
That's a good thing.
No.
Wishing the world to swallow him up.
That will be me after this first video.
Remember when you were in universe? Okay, I'm not going to get you guys to incriminate yourself, but for me, I didn't get drunk underage, okay? So when you go into university, and university is not about what you learn. University is about the friendships you make and all the other stuff that you do. Okay. So I was at this extracurricular camp. It was about exchange students. Really, it was just a giant piss up. And I was drunk, but not as much as my best friend. And they were doing, is it limbo? The one where you have to go underneath the bar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So he was very drunk, and he was trying to psych himself up before he did it. It was quite low, around your waist level, and he was stomping. He kind of looked like Godzilla, like stomping, or King Kong. He was stomping to psych himself up, and he starts to go down, but he doesn't take one step forward. He just he gets to that point where you lost your balance, and he just goes flat onto his back. Like, he's okay, because I don't check whether he's okay. I'm too busy dying from laughing, because I'm also drunk. And that's the story I remembered. So when he asked me to do his speech at his wedding, I got him to do the same thing. He wasn't drunk. He was in his suit. He still couldn't do it. He still ended up on the floor. And everyone, he asked me to do that. He knew that's what's going to happen, and he got what he wanted. So, Chloe, you've asked me to do that. I don't know if we'll end up with you being on the floor, but when I do something, I do it properly. So I'm going to reach out to these two lovely people and probably about another 10 to get some nice stuff, but also some very embarrassing stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you can't laugh at yourself, then who are you going to laugh at?
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, I laugh at
Yeah.
myself
Just to
regularly
note,
every
just to
minute.
note to anyone that's watching, this will not be up for public viewing.
No, that's what I told Chloe. It's like, if you want me to do this, it's probably not going to be shareable. Like, I can't work with those
Yeah.
sort of shackles on my creativity. So this is one that's not going to. This is not one that's going to see the light of day.
Which means it's going to be very bad.
No, very good. You've got your adjectives mixed up. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
You actually look terrified. Look at it. You actually look scared of it.
Like a wee stamped on smile. She's like, uh-huh.
I've made a giant mistake. You need that TikTok song, the Oh No song.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, I'm actually looking forward to it, definitely. It'll be funny, if anything.
That's what we call forced positivity. Well, that's me. So,
And Nadia, so what are your plans for this week?
Well,
yep.
very exciting week in lockdown. No, I'm working on a lot of the stuff we've actually been talking about. So, a lot of resource and material planning, stuff like that. I have a few little Miss Universe Ireland things that I have to do and content things that I have to do for Miss Universe organisation. So I will be getting those all done and sent off. It is going to be a week of prep and getting stuff done out of the way.
Amazing. Sounds good. So guys, are you ready to wrap up?
We are. We've been on for almost 2 hours. I think this is a record for us. This might be our longest episode ever.
Yeah.
So, let's I'll say thank you to all of you for your time. Thank you to Nadia, obviously, for being our guest and for sharing that amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And thanks to Chloe for hosting. It wasn't as bad as you thought, was it?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I don't have that same voice as you do, that very interesting, I don't know,
Chloe,
host voice.
Chloe, if your face suddenly matched with this voice, there might be other conversations that need to be had.
Yeah, but you have the perfect hosting voice. Mine is just a bit meh.
It's only because he's been practicing it, so we've practiced.
Sean.
Sean. Okay, we need to wrap this up now, guys.
Long story. Okay. Well, thanks to everyone for watching.
Thank you, everyone.
And next week we're going to have Freya Taylor on to talk about the pageant network that she's set up for Scotland. So that's something to look forward to. Everyone wave goodbye. We'll see you next week. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, Confessions is out. To get your copy from Amazon, head to shaw.b/confessionsbook. And I'll see you next time.